Hey guys, it's Kelly and welcome back to my channel. Today I am very excited because I have a 2024 Mazda CX-90 PHEV. That's right, a plug-in hybrid, which in the three-row SUV game is a rarity. There's only a few three-row SUVs that are offering a hybrid, let alone a plug-in, and I'm very excited to bring you this Mazda CX-90 tour today. If this is your first time joining me, hey, I'm Kelly and I'm the car mom. I'm a mom of three and I'm a certified child passenger safety tech. All right, let's get started. Okay, so the Mazda CX-90 recently went through a huge overhaul. In fact, they actually removed the CX-9, rebranded it to the CX-90, and this car is kind of unique. It's unique in the sense that Mazda kind of takes an emphasis on technology and performance, and it's kind of almost what I would consider like a boutique manufacturer. It's not necessarily mass market, and the price point kind of reflects that. This one behind me has an MSRP of $58,000, which is expensive for the midsize category. Now, what does PHEV mean? Well, PHEV stands for plug-in hybrid vehicle, and that means this car actually has some pure electric range. You're looking at anywhere from 25 to 27 miles on pure EV range, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for those of you who have a short commute, maybe like 15 to 20 miles a day, you could basically be operating this car like an electric vehicle. You use your EV range during the day, you plug in at night, and you're basically never filling up your gas tank. Now, I have a very detailed Mazda CX-90 tour already on my channel. I'm gonna leave a link to the description box below. For this one, we're obviously focusing on the fact that this one is a hybrid, but I also want to take a minute to focus on rear-facing car seats because this car can be a little difficult because the second row legroom is not quite as competitive in other cars in its class. Now, I'm not saying that's a deal breaker, but I'm saying if you have kids with rear-facing seats, there's definitely going to be some car seats you're going to want to avoid. But first, let's get in the driver's seat. Let's break down the technology, the safety features, and then we'll talk all about the car seat setup. Okay, let's start breaking down the interior of this Mazda CX-90. Now, I already told you this price point. It's a little higher than some other cars in its class. So I'm expecting some luxe. And you know what I'm kind of finding in this car? I think this interior is very beautifully designed. I'm loving the contrast leather. The wood trim is beautiful. Everything feels nice to the touch. But let's talk functionality. We're going to start with our door panel. This is a Stanley. I was actually not expecting that. That's actually pretty impressive. Good size cubbies, but now let me get you over to the other side. We're gonna fire up this infotainment system and kind of break it down. I'm gonna be honest, there's something about this that drives me absolutely crazy. So we have the Apple CarPlay, and I actually think the screen is kind of beautiful. I love that instead of going wide and kind of iPad screen, they kind of like took a longer approach. And if you look, the screen is slightly tilted at me, so it feels very driver friendly. Now, this works like your typical Apple CarPlay, and the best part is everything is a touchscreen, right? I can use this completely as normal. However, when you take off the Apple CarPlay, the touchscreen goes away. And now you have to use this little toggle. I am a touchscreen girl. I know that people are going to have their preferences, but I feel like this is taking up potentially another cup holder, and I would just prefer to have it as a touchscreen. And I feel as though since the technology's there, give me the option. Okay, as far as some more of the technology, I do appreciate that all of our climate control is pulled out, so you're not fumbling in the screen to find that. On this trim, we have the heated seats, heated steering wheel, and ventilated seats. I found that our climate control is very user-friendly. I actually really like these things. And then we kind of go into some more of our storage spaces. So we've got what I would assume is a wireless charger on some trims. It's not on this one. The cup holders are a little small. It like doesn't fit the Stanley great, and I also think this is crazy that now I can't control like this half of the climate control if I have a cup right there. I mean, hello, what is that all about? However, I am really loving the panoramic sunroof, you guys. Gorgeous, goes all the way back into the second row, lets in so much beautiful natural light, and I think the color of this leather is also a beautiful choice. I know when people have kids, they're so scared to do a lighter leather interior, but I actually think it cleans up the same as black. It keeps the car a little bit cooler, and I'm just partial to the aesthetics. Okay, I want to show you this center console. It's kind of small. And by kind of small, I mean extremely small. Should be bigger for the size of the car. I find that a little disappointing. So for the most part, I think what you're getting with this car is you're getting a great driving vehicle, not a lot of road noise, handles really well, especially around corners. And of course, you're getting the PHEV, which I truly can't tell you how rare that is in the three-row market at this time. Now we also have heads-up display. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. We don't find heads-up display on a lot of non-luxury vehicles, and it's one of my favorite features because I think it's actually a really good safety feature. It allows you to see things like your speed limit, your navigation, without taking your eyes off of the road. So I'm very excited to see that in the CX-90. Okay, now we're gonna get to the second row. We're gonna break down this car seat setup. We'll talk about the third row. I'll show you the trunk, and we'll see just how really family friendly this three-row SUV is. Now, as far as the CX-90 is concerned, from a sizing perspective, it's technically on the smaller size for the midsize SUV category. Something like the Chevy Traverse, the Honda Pilot, those are the bigger ones. In this CX-90 Toyota Highlander, it's kind of on the smaller ones. You'll definitely see that when we get to the third row. But nothing's bad with that. Some people want a smaller car. As far as the car seat hardware is concerned, you're looking at, with the captain's chairs, lower anchors in both captain's chairs, one set of lower anchors in the third row, tether anchor in all seating positions. Now, what I'm finding a little confusing about the Mazda CX-90 is depending on, I guess, trim and powertrain, it will determine if you have 2 or 3 seats in the third row, because the previous CX-90 I did only had 2 seats in the third row, which quite honestly is my preference, because then I find that you get 2 comfortable seats versus 3 uncomfortable seats that normally ends up with somebody sitting on a buckle. This particular one has the captain's chairs and 3 seats in the third row. So I tried to find the information on their website, and it's very unclear to me which ones have the 3, which ones have the 2. So just something to be aware of as you're shopping CX-90s, maybe make that a consideration. But what I do want to talk about is car seat clearance with rear-facing car seats. Like I said, I have a whole other Mazda CX-90 tour where I show you a different combination of seats, and that won't change for how these car seats fit. Rear-facing seats can be difficult, especially when you're in the smaller three-row category. I brought 2 different car seats with me that can kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at. The first one is the Britax Poplar, and this is a very compact seat front to back. And as you can see with that seat set for myself, I only have just a few inches of clearance to spare. I would expect for a three-row SUV in this particular car seats, I would have had a little bit more room. But let me go over to the other side and I'll show you a more worst case scenario option where this car seat would definitely not work for this car. The other seat I have with me is this Evenflow 360 Slim. This is one of the rotating car seats, and I adore this seat, especially the slim version, because for a rotating seat, it's slim. However, it's not compact front to back. Look at the differences between this one and the Britax Poplar over there. I, first of all, had that passenger seat not set for myself. I'm about 6 feet tall, so I know I'm a taller driver, but I could never sit behind this car seat. So just a consideration to make if you're looking for this car. I know it sucks to buy a new car seat, like I get it. However, it also sucks to take a car off your list entirely just because your specific seat won't work. I have an entire list of the most compact car seats front to back on my website. I'm gonna leave a link for it below. All right, here's a shot of me in the second row of the CX-90, and let's talk about my comfort features back here. We kind of already talked about the leg clearance. I mean, it's fine. Like for a full-size adult, I'm definitely comfortable back here, even with this seat set for myself. I have really good head clearance. Like I'm actually pleasantly surprised by that. And as far as my amenities are concerned, I do have heated seats, USB-Cs, and I have vents in the back of the center console. However, I do want to note that the only ventilation in the second row are these little 2-inch vents. And I feel like we could use some more, especially for like this rear facing seat. I mean, this is just not going to get a lot of air circulation. I would love to see vents in the ceiling, or at the very least bigger vents than that. We do also have built-in sunshades, which is fabulous. And then check out these side cubbies. Lots of good storage space there, so that feels great. Okay, let's talk third row access. So the Mazda CX-90 utilizes what I call the tilt and slide. So it's not the kind of seat where you could have a car seat installed and then go back there. And then I go to my third row seat with the 3 seats. I think that's so weird. I don't know why the other one only had 2. I don't know what the breakdown is. Mazda, please let me know. All right, here I am in the third row of the CX-90 with, again, this seat pushed all the way back because remember I have that big rear-facing car seat. This would never work. I'm not comfortable back here. You probably couldn't even install a car seat back here because any forward-facing child seats would be basically pressed against here. So this is not gonna work. This is where I just hate this little middle seat because this is the smallest seat in the world. I can't even believe they can count that. So let's say I'm here. Let's push this back. Let's come back like halfway. Okay, I mean, this is comfortable. If I can do this, that's fine. But just be aware of who's ever sitting here. If they don't need a lot of leg room, then you can kind of even it out that way. It's definitely not the most spacious third row, but it's also not the biggest. So I'm feeling fine. My head clearance still feels nice. Amenities, I've got USB-Cs on both sides, 2 cup holders. And then if you look, my vents are down here, which is kind of a unique spot for vents. I haven't really seen that before. So anyway, One thing I do like about the CX-90 seats is they actually are pretty deep. A lot of the times when I'm in a vehicle's third row, they really make these seats very shallow. And sometimes a shallow seat is very hard to install a car seat on because you can't have too much overhang on the car seat. I've installed a few different types of car seats back here. And again, you're not like winning legroom awards, and not every child in every seat is going to work. But for the most part, with this bench being so deep, it does make it possible to install forward-facing car seats back here or boosters. Okay, are you ready to check out the trunk? Okay, Mazda CX-90. Now, last time I tried this, I brought my, I think, Mockingbird stroller, and I wasn't able to fit my stroller in. So I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. I wanted to try something a little easier. So I brought a more compact car seat. This is the baby jogger. It's a lot smaller of a stroller, and I was able to fit this. I mean, as you can see, the trunk space isn't terrible, but strollers can just be really difficult to fit sometimes. I mean, they're clunky, they're big. Let's push that up all the way. Okay, no extra storage underneath here, really. I mean, just a little bit, the charging capabilities, but nothing really to totally ride home about. And then it's very easy to lay these seats flat. I love this. It's just a pull and a push. I don't like the power, you guys. I don't have time for it. I can't be sitting here holding a button. I'm a mom. Lay those seats flat, nice cargo space. We also have an outlet back here, which is very nice. A little bit of light. And for the most part, I feel like for the size of the car, the trunk is the least of my worries, truthfully. Okay, y'all, so that's going to wrap up this Mazda CX-90 PHEV tour. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions and leave your vehicle tour request below. I'll see you next time.